miss you.
Yeah, but I was searching for you everywhere. Where were
that's
you?
funny, because we were looking for you, and we tried to call you, but that's your phone.
Yeah, and it was laying here.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's okay, this is the first Comic-Con in the Netherlands. That's exciting.
This is also my first Comic-Con.
Really?
This is my first Q&A. Thank you. But how are you?
I'm great.
You want to sit down or do you want to stand?
I'm gonna stand. I have too much energy to sit. Wow. This is cool. I can't see anyone.
No, but they can see you.
Yeah. This really feels like a rock concert.
I think you have a few friends here.
Can I crowd surf? No, I probably should. I won't.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's the Netherlands?
I saw the airport.
Yeah?
And then I went to a dark vehicle and they drove me here, and then I went to the hotel.
That was my best friend who was driving you.
Tim?
Tim.
Oh, I love Tim.
My
He was
brother.
great.
He's my brother.
Real brother or fake
real,
brother?
fake brother.
So fake that he's real, though.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a supernatural
He's
brother.
lovely. He's lovely. He was so nervous for all the guests.
Oh, Tim was great. So far, my experience with everyone in the Netherlands has been wonderful. Like, I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you. So far, it's been wonderful. I hope that stays the same. It was a real crazy journey getting here. But I made it, and I'm really excited. Also really excited to just walk around and see everything. This is way bigger than I thought it would be.
And that's for the first time Comic-Con.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands.
Yeah, you guys are doing great.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So how does it work?
We have a Q&A, and
right.
I think the best thing is that...
Do we throw the mic out and let them ask the questions?
let them ask the questions.
Okay, first one.
We have the first one is here, right now.
Oh wow. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. Hi.
Hi. Did Jensen and Jared prank you a lot?
No, but they certainly tried.
What was the worst?
This is so cool. I can stay I'm not gonna do anything. Does Jared? Can you guys hear all the questions, by the way? Yeah. Okay.
And name one.
So Jared and Jensen definitely tries to prank everyone. It's kind of one of their things. One funny thing is, our first AD who does the scheduling, he schedules an extra hour every day for fooling around. And this is not because he wants to and because it's a fun thing, but he used to be a really nice guy. Like, back in season 1, he was the nicest guy. And then throughout the seasons, because it's his job to keep everyone on schedule, right? And so whenever they go off schedule, which was a lot, he would hear from it. And so now it's season 10, he's a little bit cranky and no one really likes to talk to him. And it's because he's gotten so much stress from Jared and Jensen doing like the same joke for like 30 minutes. And so there are this one time, I was trying to go home. Like I was ready to fly to LA right after the scene. Jared just had a baby. He was trying to go home to see his baby. And so we both had flights ready. And this was the last shot that we had to do. And this is great, we have the table. So this was I think season 8. But it was me, Jared, and Jensen, and Jared was here. He's not really in the scene, so he's bored, and I'm talking to Jensen across the table. So I'm talking to Jensen, and it's not like a very funny scene. So we're having conversation, we're just trying to get this last shot. And so what Jared does is, because he's so bored, he's just texting, like he's pretending to eat and he's texting. And during the scene, he just keeps he starts rubbing his foot, and his leg's really long, right? And so he's just trying to rub my crotch and my legs, and I'm really ticklish. And I make the mistake of telling him, I'm like, Jared, you can't do that, I'm really ticklish. And as soon as I did that, the entire crew just did exactly what you did. They're like, oh no. I'm like, what did I do? And so it was for 30 minutes. He would not stop. He would not stop, and I couldn't stop laughing. And at the end, I was yelling at him. I'm like, Jared, I have a flight to catch. You're supposed to be a good father. You have to see your babies. And he just wouldn't. And when he finally stopped, then Jensen would do it. And I don't know, it's so frustrating. But after that, I really put my foot down, And I was trying to be a wet blanket whenever I could, and I think they figured it out. I mean, they always make fun of Misha, Mark a lot too. So I feel like if they do that with everyone, then we certainly waste more than an hour a day. So I made a very conscious decision not to do that. There was a scene early season 8 as well, where I had the water gun and I was shooting them in the face. And I forget who it was. I think it was one of the camera guys. They're like, shoot him in the crotch, shoot him in the crotch. like you're in power right now, just shoot him in the crotch, they deserve it. And I'm like, I really don't want, like, this sets a precedence, you know, if you do that. And then they're telling me to shoot the camera guy in the crotch. He's like, don't worry, he's ready for it. We always shoot him in the crotch. He's wearing rubber pants by now. And so there was this moment where, like, we're doing the scene, I'm like, should I shoot someone in the crotch? Should I shoot Jared in the crotch? Should I shoot Jensen in the crotch? Or should I shoot the cameraman in the crotch? I mean, this is a hard decision. That decision basically marked the rest of the trajectory of my time on set. And I decided to shoot no one in the crotch. But as soon as the scene was done, Jared grabbed the gun and he shot the cameraman in the crotch. But I made the statement of saying, it's like, okay guys, this is fun, we'll do the stuff, but not when I'm gonna shoot you in the crotch and then you're gonna take 20 minutes to get changed and dry off, and you know, that just wastes a lot of time. So I decided that I would be a professional on set. So they've stopped messing with me as much, especially since I broke Jared's arm last year. They kind of stopped a little bit. Ugh. Well, there you go. Sorry, I also take a very long time answering my questions, so feel free to cut me off anytime.
Ja, het is makkelijk om gewoon eventjes de microfoons door te geven. Well, we have the next question, and you've got a really big lot of fans here.
I know, it's awesome.
It's amazing. Wow.
I mean, I've already seen a lot of Kevin cosplayer. No. I mean, mostly Castiel ones, I guess. Sorry. Oh, and also, I mean, everyone's English is really good, I'm assuming, but if I'm talking too fast, maybe you can just, like, do this, and then I'll try to slow down.
It works. You're in Holland, so no problem.
Okay.
Hi, sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
You're fine. Hi.
I was just wondering how many scenes of takes it took to shoot the poop on the nose scene with Castiel.
Oh, the boop? No, that wasn't that bad. That we did maybe 1-2 takes with several shots. I mean, I think that was one of my first. I mean, I don't do that many scenes with Castiel. And that was really early on when I didn't really know Misha, and I just thought he was like a really weird guy. Because all the episodes that I've seen of him previously, he has this really weird style where he does a whole scene like Dane, and and his arms are right by his side. And I found out later on that it was because whatever season that was, Misha was wrestling with Jared and Jensen, and he dislocated his elbow. And so for like half a season, his arms are glued to his side because he couldn't move it. And I always thought that was like a really strange acting choice. And so before I knew that story, I just thought he was a little bit off. Or like maybe a little bit slow. I don't know. It was a weird assumption. So when he booped my nose, I'm like, well, this isn't it. You know, this is what I expect from him. But yeah, it didn't take that many takes. We do 2 takes and then we changed the camera angle. We did another one for coverage. Yeah.
Can I shake your hand?
Yes.
Awesome.
I like your shirt.
Thank you, I like your shirt.
Oh, well, thank you.
I was wondering that if or when Kevin comes back.
If or when Kevin comes back. By show, how many people is this the first Comic-Con of any type? By any chance, did anyone go to San Diego Comic-Con last year? One person, okay. Okay. So last year at San Diego Comic-Con, they do a supernatural panel every year in the biggest hall. And I decided to go, and there's this video game called Journey, and I dressed up as that character. And I went in line, and it was one of my favorite moments last year. But I went in line, I couldn't see anything because the lights were on me, and I was looking through a mesh. And I just kind of stared at them. No one knew who I was, and then I took off my mask. Everyone went crazy, and then I asked them, "When's Kevin gonna come back?" To which they say, "Now, never." Which just taught me a big lesson. Don't prank them. They don't like it. I don't know when Kevin will come back. I mean, I would love for him to come back in season 11. They talked about maybe season 10, but for Kevin to come back, it's a little bit weird if he doesn't feel like, I mean, he's kind of like Charlie, you know, they're like guest characters, but Kevin's really not the character that would come in for one like special episode. It never, you know, because he was always part of the main plot line, so I'd feel it'd be really weird for them to do that. Which is to say, if they do bring me back, I feel like they would bring me back for part of the plot, and if they don't, then they won't bring me back at all.
With what character would you love to have a scene that you haven't had yet?
Oh, so many, to be honest. I mean, I would love more scenes with Castiel, but I would love a scene with Charlie. You know, I feel like right? They would be such good friends. They have so much in common, and the one time where Charlie was at the bunker, Kevin was in, like, Bronson. Yeah, that was really weird. I mean, it was kind of funny that they wrote that in, but yeah, Charlie would be the one character that I would love to meet as Kevin. And Felicia and I have become pretty close friends after that. Like, we have so much in common. It's pretty cool, so definitely Charlie. Yeah, thank you.
Osric.
Hi.
Osric.
Hi.
I've got a special request here.
Yeah, what's up?
I've got here some lovely girls.
Yeah, hi.
They have cookies. They brought cookies for you.
Okay, for the next hour I'm gonna eat cookies. No, we probably... Well, hi.
Ja, ik zit er nog aan.
Thank you. She made special cookies. That was really cool. You know, my agent tells me that I should never eat anything that a fan makes me. No, it's fine, it's fine. It's really good. It's really good. It's sugary. Oh, your mom made it. Yeah, it's great. Thank you. Can I get some water? I feel like, oh, okay. It's gonna be really dry after a while, but thank you. Sugar cookies are nice.
Jij had nog een vraag?
Hi.
Hey.
We have another question.
Well, first of all, I would like to say I'm going through a really hard time of being homeless, and Supernatural and the whole fandom, it really helped me through it. My question for you is, if unicorns turned out to be real and one would appear here on the stage right now, what would you say or ask him?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
If unicorns are real and one appears on the stage here right now, what would you say or ask him?
So if unicorns were real, and this unicorn appeared on the stage, what would I say to him? Do I, according to the mythology we both share, do unicorns speak English and understand me? What would I say? I mean, this might be bad, but I mean, I would pet it, and then I would go to the back and I'd pluck one of the hairs and try to make a wand out of it. You know, get some cedar and see if that actually worked. So I wouldn't really say anything. That's terrible. I feel like I should do something better than that. But that's the only thing I would really want to do. I mean, I would try to ride it, but I probably shouldn't, you know? I don't know. I mean, if the unicorn came on stage, on this very stage, I'm like, okay, this is our unicorn now. What should we do with it? Should we set it free? Or let's all try to talk to the unicorn and see what the unicorn wants to do. And if it's just there because it's like, hey, I'm a unicorn. I don't know. That's a very interesting question. Something to think about. Something to write fiction about. if a unicorn came on stage. I think that is the first time I've ever been asked that question. So thank you. If a unicorn came on
I think
stage.
we have another few questions.
Yeah.
When you're done.
Yeah, no, I'll be thinking about unicorns for a while.
The cookie is good?
Okay.
How's the cookie?
That was great.
Okay.
I'm gonna work my way through it.
Hi, my name is Luz. We talked a little on Facebook lately. And I lost my Harry Potter shirt, so I'm sorry. But
It's okay.
I wanted to ask, from the whole supernatural experience, what is the best you got from it?
It's not obvious by now. It's the fandom. It is 100%. Like I can say that with, you know, like it's a good show, right? It's a good show, but it's not like a, you know, a mind-numbingly breathtaking show that you show anyone and they would just fall head over heels for. It's not that kind of show. Like even, I mean, I love Game of Thrones, but even that's not that kind of a show. You know, it takes a couple of episodes to get into it. What Supernatural has is, it's got a show with all of these themes that kind of just connect with so many people, you know, and it comes down to relationships, you know, it's about love. It's about fighting for the people that you love. It's fighting for yourselves. And, you know, it's just these themes that run through the show. And as a fandom, everyone kind of embodies that spirit. So you go to a lot of these conventions, and for every show, you'll see that the fan base kind of embodies the essence of the show, right? So like, Vampire Diaries, The Twilight, I can't really stand those fans. I mean, I'm sure they're great, but they embody the spirit of the show. And I'm not that kind of person that watches that show. And so you have Supernatural that embodies the spirit of a family, right? And just fighting through dark times together. And it is just the most wonderful thing I've ever experienced. It has changed my life, like, dramatically since probably, I think, since the first episode aired. Like, right away I noticed it. And yeah, I don't even know what a second would be, because that is by far the first one. And how everyone comes together, you can go to a convention, you'll see someone dressed as Castiel, and you can be friends almost instantly. You know, it's the coolest thing. And I mean, you guys have changed my life. You know, so 100%, it's the fandom. Yeah. So thank you. And I love sugar cookies. I love it.
Osric, you have time for another question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
I'm really nervous, so I'm sorry if I'm not making any sense. But you're
too.
obviously a really great actor. But do you get any inspiration from like another TV show or another movie, or do you look up to another actor or something like that?
I mean, no one in particular. I feel like every single person, every single artist, you know, we're constantly changing. So even if I admire someone for one particular thing, maybe not even a year from now, right? So there's definitely moments and projects and just little situations that I'll see someone do and I'm like, you know what, I really admire that person for that. And every single show, every single movie, every single person I meet becomes a source of inspiration. So, I mean, as an actor, as a filmmaker, we're all storytellers, right? It's our job to tell stories of all shapes and sizes, of all types. And so whenever we come across these experiences, that becomes part of us, and that in sometimes a little way, sometimes a really big way, it changes how we see a situation and how we tell stories. So in that sense, every single person is always training to be a storyteller, and because that's really the core of human nature, is telling stories. So I draw inspiration from everything and anything. Like, even if I watch the worst movie in the world, sometimes that's where I get the most inspiration, because I think to myself, I'm like, someone gave that person money to do the worst movie you've ever seen. I'm like, well, that means that I can do at least the second worst movie I've ever seen, and it's possible. So, yeah, I mean, I think everyone draws inspiration from everything, especially artists. right? Everything that'll spark an idea, Someone asks you a question about unicorns coming on stage, you might think about, it's like, okay, what is that unicorn? And who knows, maybe they'll turn into some musical piece you write later on. Like, there's so many intangibles, and you can't really connect these things so obviously. So pretty much, yeah, anything, really. I mean, this question probably inspires me to do something later on. Who knows? Yeah. Can we ask?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I have no idea of my schedule. I'm okay to answer questions all day, to be
The
honest.
thing I want to know, it's only supernaturally. But you also did the Halo movie. I love that one.
Oh, I love the Halo movie.
Yeah. How was it to be with the Master Chief then?
Ah, he was really big. Okay, how many of you saw Forward Unto Dawn, Halo? Oh, not so much. That's a gamer crowd.
I'm really
wrong
all
crowd.
here.
Yeah, it's a gamer crowd. To be honest, I never played Halo, the game, because I can't play first-player shooters. I think the first one that made me sick was GoldenEye for N64, and I got really dizzy, and then I had to take a nap, and I threw up. And after that, I just learned that I can't play first-player shooters, and so Halo was one of them. And even I got an early copy of the game, and I couldn't play it. But the project was really fun. It was shot in Vancouver, and it's the most expensive web series ever done to date. And so the Master Chief, he was like a 6'8" guy, and he was in like boots that were half a foot tall, and so he was gigantic. That was fun, it's like you're doing a movie, but at the same time we're going through military training, boot camp.
That was awesome.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Perfect. We have another question. I think it's for Supernatural, I think.
No, it's not.
No!
Okay, hey. If you woke up one day in a female body, what would you do?
Wow.
Maybe the better question is, what wouldn't I do? Wait, is this my body, or do I recognize it as someone else's body? Oh, it's my body.
Oh, wacht even. Oh, no, go on.
These are fun questions. If it's like the first day and I've lived my entire life with this body, and then all of a sudden I would probably freak out first. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, if it just happened so suddenly, I probably wouldn't think that I was a woman just yet. I would be wondering where these came from, and why I have so much freedom to kick my legs around.
We're in the Netherlands, you can say anything.
I'm just wondering how graphic I should go. Or maybe I won't notice anything, and I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, and it's gonna get everywhere. And I'm like, oh, my aim is so bad. And maybe I'll start bleeding, and I'll start asking questions. Oh, this is bad. Bad question.
We have a next question.
Sorry. Hi.
Hi, I asked Sebastian the same question a couple of months ago, so I was wondering if you could top it.
Probably not. I know Sebastian.
If you could orchestrate your own resurrection scene on Supernatural, regardless of money or technological issues, how would it look like?
A resurrection. I don't know if I would have Kevin resurrected, to be honest. I mean, his body's burned. That's a big thing. So I think I have a problem with the core concept of that question. I feel like, if Kevin came back, he would still be in ghost form. Whether or not he stays in the veil, moves on to hell, moves on to heaven, that would be cool, either way. I don't know if I would want him fully back, to be honest. If Kevin came back resurrected, well, if Kevin were to be resurrected, I would have Crowley do it, because I feel like if anyone could do it, it would be Crowley. And if anyone would want to do it, it'd still be Crowley. I really like Crowley.
Sebastian's answer was Sam being pregnant with Balthazar, so...
Yeah, Sebastian would say that, wouldn't he?
Hi, what was your favorite scene to film?
My favorite scene to film was still the first one I ever shot. It was a scene where I was running away from Jared. And that scene was, one, I grew up with a stunts background, so I did a lot of martial arts. And so this was the only scene where I actually got to be physical, right? Me and Jared are both very competitive. And I just met him, so he didn't really know. I mean, I looked like Kevin. So he didn't really think that I was much of anything. So when they're like, okay, he's gonna chase you now, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And Jared's like, hold on, I'm gonna step back. You know, he took like 5 gigantic strides, and I'm like, all right. I used to be a sprinter, so I'm like, we'll see how this goes. And so they're like, action, and I just bolted by. And they're like, okay, all right, that was too fast, dude. That was too fast. And I see Jared, he's just like, little victory for me that I'll never rub in his face, but. Also, that was the weekend that he was about to be a dad, right? So the first day, he was a little bit different. He wasn't really pranking anyone because he was so nervous because at any moment, Jen was gonna go into labor. And so it was, I know, it gave me a false impression of what the show was gonna be like. He was so nice. So nice. And the last take that we did with Jared, it's like, go ahead, Jared, this is your last take. He does it, and then he gets a phone call, and his wife was going into labor, and so he just, it's like, Osric, are you okay? Like, can you finish this scene? And I'm like, yes, go to your baby. And so he just runs off, and it was like, that was my first day. He became a dad. It was such a surreal experience. And that was definitely the most memorable and favorite scene for sure. Season Kevin. And I had really long hair. I haven't had that long of hair since. I mean, looking back, it kind of looks like a wig, but yeah, weird.
You're still doing okay?
Yeah.
I can take a chair, I can sit there, so you're doing everything. You're so awesome.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just let me know when the next person needs to come on.
Yeah, the next person is standing right in front of you.
This is comfortable. How do you just like point it? Oh, okay.
Hi.
Well, hi.
I was wondering, over the past 10 seasons, what your favorite episode is?
That I've been in, or just
Not particularly, just all of them.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I have not seen the entire series yet. Okay. To be fair, when Kevin came in, I was going to watch the whole thing. Like, when I got the job, I'm like, I should probably watch it. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, Kevin doesn't know anything about the show. So I probably don't need to, and I'll be fine. And so with that in mind, I didn't watch anything except for Party on Garth, which in retrospect was a terrible episode to watch, because it has nothing to do with the show. But I did see season 1, and I really liked it. And I think my favorite episode was season 1, episode 10, Faith. And it was just a wonderful episode. You know, it was so sad. So that one definitely sticks in my head. And favorite episodes for personal interest was definitely Reading is Fundamental, because that changed my life. So, welcome.
Hi, I have a question. Are you going to participate in Gishwiz this year?
How many people have done Gishwiz before? How many people don't know what Gishwiz is? Okay, fair enough. Let me give you a quick rundown. So Gishu is the greatest international scavenger hunt the world has ever seen. And this is the largest scavenger hunt in the world. I think they broke the world record 4 times now. And it's a scavenger hunt that Misha, who plays Castiel, he organizes every single year. And it's teams of 15 people, and you can have 14 friends of yours or people from all over the world come together, or just do it separately. And he'll give you the weirdest items, like get a picture of a policeman standing on a car with an egg all over his face. Or, like, it'll be like the stupidest things. And so everyone goes around, and there's like 100, 200 items, and everyone goes around trying to get videos and photos of these things. And it's like a week where the supernatural fandom drives the world insane. It's quite obnoxious, actually, but it's fun at the same time. So every year there's been a NASA thing And so NASA like has to post on their websites like, okay, we're not doing anything for Gishu, stop asking us. Or last year, Misha went on this trip and he had like an experience at this one particular ice cream store on Vancouver Island or somewhere around that area. And so one of the items was to go there and order this special sundae. And I think the guy that made it for him got fired because it was like too much. But every time there's just like so much traffic, websites go down, like businesses either blow up or shut down. Like it's really crazy. But it's fun as well. It kind of gives everyone an excuse to do something silly for a weekend, and you bond with a bunch of people. So I did it last year, and I had 14 random teammates from all over the world, and it was a wonderful experience. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do it this year because it's a week straight, and if you do it competitively, you actually have to take a week off of work, and I don't know if I can do that. I might do it like just for fun. Maybe do like an item here or there. But I strongly recommend it. If you guys are curious, just look it up. There's hundreds of YouTube videos and stuff about it. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering if you could Dean's Castiel impression for us.
A Dean and Castiel impression?
Yeah, all three, or the one you like the most.
I don't know if I do very good impressions, to be honest. No, yeah, I just put it in the tea. Okay, Dean impression. Oh, man, see, I need to watch more of the show to really give. See, what does Dean say? Sammy. Gas. Dean, your zipper's undone. I'm really bad at impressions. I'll work on that one. Actually, I'm surprised more people don't ask that one. I'll have to practice that. Accents. That is not a skill I have on my resume. Impersonations. Accents. I wish I could do a British accent. Then I could do Crowley, but my voice isn't low enough to do that. Kevin. Can't do it.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell us anything really embarrassing about Jensen, Jared, Mark, or Misha?
Something really embarrassing. I don't know if this is my place to tell it. Well, honestly, this is Jared, both me and Jared's thing. So last year in Italy, I've never been that embarrassed in my life. Well, I mean, I have, but like in that moment, it was just one of those things. So, how many people know the story of how Jared broke his arm in season 10? Okay, so most of you don't actually. Well, last year we did a convention in Rome, and so it was Jared, Jensen, a bunch of the guys, Misha, Mark were there, and we're all in this very little green room. It was maybe like this big, and so there's like 10 of us. We're all there, just hanging out. Everyone's bored. Half of them are drinking, and Jared's really bored, and out of nowhere, he's just like, "Hey, anyone want to wrestle?" And no one says anything, and I'm bored. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll wrestle." And so Jared just comes at me. I'm like, hold on, we should clear some space, but he doesn't wait for that. And so we just start wrestling, and he's trying to like, choke me out. He's really strong. He's a really big guy. But I have a lot of martial arts training, and so I'm like, okay, let's do this. So after like a minute, I'm on his back and I'm choking him out. And I mean, I have it locked in. I mean, if he was any smaller, it would have been over. But I'm just waiting for him to tap out, and instead he stands up, right? And so I'm really high off the ground, and the problem is we're both very competitive. So I didn't let go, and instead of tapping out, because I start really cranking, like I'm really choking out, trying to put him to sleep. But he wouldn't tap out, and so instead he tries to body slam me into the ground. I know, this could have gone so horribly. And it did, for Jared. So he tries to body slam me, I'm like, oh God, and I just hold on, and then I kind of tuck and roll, and then we're wrestling on the floor, and I end up on top of him, and then he finally taps out. But what happened was, he hit his elbow on the couch on the way down, And so after, he wasn't moving. He was like, I think I dislocated my shoulder. And of course, everyone in the room starts laughing because that's just how they are. And Jared's just there, and he slowly gets up, and we all see his face. He wasn't making it up. His face was completely pale. And so everyone laughs more. At this point, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, did I just do that? And so I'm freaking out. I'm like, hey guys, hold on. I'm like, let's find, like, is there like a first aid person? Like, what do we do? And everyone's just laughing, and they're cheering me on. They're like chanting, like, oh, Osric. I'm like, guys, stop it. And I was so frustrated. I'm like, guys, this is not the time to do it. I was so angry at the time. Like you can, and Jared's not saying anything. So eventually Cliff pushes his shoulder in, and he's still white. He's in so much pain. They give him painkillers, and the guys are making fun of him the entire time. And not only am I the smallest guy in the room, but Jensen's like, you know what? The worst part? He's the guy that wears the dresses. and there were so many things that it was just like one after another, and I felt so bad. And that's where the name Master Chau comes from, is because the entire weekend, they were like, okay, like, sorry, Godfather Chau. Like, no one would look me in the eye, like, sorry. And like, it was so ridiculous. Like they open doors for me, pull out the chair. Like, it made me so uncomfortable because Jared was right there and still in very much pain, and like, the guys are great, but they're assholes. And so for the entire weekend, they're like this. And then Jared tries to stretch out his shoulder after, and he pops it out again. So that was quite embarrassing for him and me as well. And when I saw the preview of season 10, and I saw that he was in a sling for the first couple of episodes, like my heart just sank. I'm like, oh my God. To Jared's credit, even when he was like in pain, like the second time around on painkillers, like he still had a good sense of humor, and and he kept saying, it's like, okay, Osric, it's like don't worry about it. I'm just gonna call my wife and make sure they won't let you back into the country. It's like, hold on, I'm just gonna make a call to Jerry, make sure they like kill off Kevin for good, and then he never has a chance of coming back. Like, even during the pain, he was being such an asshole. And you gotta hand it to him. He's resilient. So, that was very embarrassing for the both of us. Hopefully we don't. I don't think we're allowed to wrestle anymore. Too many wrestling injuries. I think Jensen had like rug burn for an episode too when he was wrestling Misha and Jared. Misha dislocated his elbow, and now Jared's shoulder. So probably too many wrestling incidents. Which is really weird that that's the thing.
Where's the next question?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, but we have the microphone.
Where's the microphone?
Where?
There it is.
There it is. Ah, here. Thank you.
Apart from Supernatural, what's your favorite TV show?
Oh, so many. Right now, I watch a lot of cartoons. Right now, an anime. I watch... Oh, that's so soggy. Good. I'm watching Bob's Burger right now. I binge watched it, and I'm on the 5th season already. It's been like a week. Before that, I watched Avatar: Legend of Korra. So good. But I think I enjoyed the first one more. But I loved all the tie-ins and stuff, like the Cabbage Corporation. Like every little thing. Uncle Iroh, my favorite character. Let's see, so many. Wait, there's another one that I watched just before that too. I love, anime, cartoons, TV shows. Walking Dead, I'm still catching up on. That one I loved for a while. Game of Thrones, I'm really excited for it to come out. House of Cards was really good. First 2 seasons of that. What else am I watching? Oh, Parks and Recreation. That's got to be one of my favorite shows. So sad that it ended. I cried during the finale. It was so sad. It was one of those shows. I'm glad they ended it on their own terms at least, but still sad to see it go. I watch The Office a lot, that 70s show, it's always like on repeat. I don't know. I definitely don't watch as much TV as I used to. I used to binge watch all the time. I don't know, what's your favorite show? What do you recommend? Oh, Supernatural, I should watch that. Sherlock, right. That's right. I've only seen 2 episodes of Sherlock. And it made me, I know. And the second one, I wasn't that big of a fan of the second one, and it made me sad because that was like the Asian one. I'm like, oh, this was a weak one.
But if you watched two episodes, you almost watched the first season.
I thought it was 3 episodes a season, right?
It's like three episodes.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. But it's like a movie every time. Although I really liked I liked Benedict Cumberbatch as a guy, as a person, as an actor. I think he's great. Like, Imitation Game, I absolutely love that movie. So yeah. Probably a lot more movies nowadays. I watched 4 movies on the flight here. Thought about sleeping, but I'm like, 4 movies. That's a good trade-off. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of shows that I need to catch up on, and like, South Park is probably my favorite cartoon. And I got the game, and I need to play the game. But I got a big list that I pretty much only add to and hardly ever take off. So I'll get to them.
It's like just episodes.
So who has the mic now? The system is... Hi.
Hi. She wants to ask you your favorite Disney princess is.
That's a tough one. For the longest... Okay, it's really weird to think about, but when I was growing up, I had the biggest crush on Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Like that was it, Belle. And then I realized she was a cartoon. I mean, it wasn't as weird as Lola Bunny from Space Jam. Biggest crush. And then I realized she was a cartoon and a rabbit. They really mess with kids these days. Watch it, be careful what sexy cartoons you show her. But I think my favorite princess is either Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
I've got Belle here.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. Did you make that dress? Oh, that is really wonderfully done. Oh my goodness. That's a really well-made costume. Rapunzel was great. Also, I shared this because Kevin had a giant frying pan and Entangled, she had a big frying pan, so I have a soft spot for her. Ariel is always great, which Little Mermaid was definitely one of them. Cinderella and Snow White, not so much. I'm gonna put those on my B-list princesses. That I just like Sleeping Beauty as well. Maybe because it came at a weird time. Jasmine I quite liked. So many princesses. Elsa, I know she's like a really popular one, but I don't know. It was weird. When I saw that movie, I assumed Elsa would be everywhere in it, but it wasn't. It was Annie. So I wouldn't say Elsa either, yeah. It'd be between Belle and Rapunzel and Ariel. Those Disney princesses. I mean, Mulan was great too, actually. Actually, I love that movie. Oh.
Hi, oh god, I'm really nervous. So you did this video with the Hollywood show, and you was Glenn. Oh god, this is very close.
A little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry. You did this video with the Hollywood show, and I was wondering what would be the first thing you would do in the zombie apocalypse?
The first thing I would do in the zombie apocalypse? It depends where I am. If I'm here and it was a zombie apocalypse, I would run through all... No, I would... zombie apocalypse, I feel like... I mean, the first enemy that you fight during a zombie apocalypse, unfortunately, is humans. No one's thinking with the rational brain, and so you're kind of...
We got Michael Douglas from The Walking Dead, so he's ready.
Yeah, I should ask him, huh? Zombie apocalypse. I mean, I'm not a gun type of guy. I wouldn't fight with a gun. I would go with, I love Michonne because, it's just quick, clean, and very efficient. And so I would probably go with a knife. I love medieval stuff, and for style points, I would go with an axe. but it's not as easy. Though if they were the Walking Dead zombies, I feel like we're fine. I'm like, guys, just relax. They're so slow. You can never get bitten unless you decide to walk right beside one thinking it's dead. And you should just, there should be like ABCs. Just don't go close to them, and if you're gonna do it, just stab them in the head first. Like, that is my one complaint about the show, is that they're loud and they're slow. So you really shouldn't ever be surprised if they show up. Yeah, it makes no sense. And so if we can ignore that, if they're like crazy running zombies, well, then you get a wall behind you and you try to get like a door. But I think a Costco would be great, or like one of those major department stores, and maybe you can make an alliance with everyone that's there. I'm like, wow, that's really good. See. But that's the slow zombie, and I'll be like, all right, I'm just gonna wait till you get here, and then I'm gonna swing. Oh, that's really good. And the spotlight is on you. It's like you guys planned this. That's great. Yeah, it comes down to teamwork. So if a zombie apocalypse did happen, teamwork, right? I mean, don't kill each other. Let the zombies do that. Don't do their work for them. Go to Costco, and then we can fortify, and we can probably survive for a while, and until we can figure out, a better solution. I mean, it's fun to think about.
We have a few more questions?
Yeah, brings us back to our primal instincts.
Hi.
Hi.
I would like to go back to Supernatural for a second. I would like to ask, if you weren't Kevin, what character would you
Crowley.
be? Crowley.
I just think he is like the best character, He gets all these like fun one-liners, he has a British accent, he gets to do all these really fun things, and he's, you kind of think he's a bad guy, but is he? He's just one of those lovable bad guys that you just love to hate or love to love, Like, it's such a great character. If it weren't Crowley, I would go for Dean, because I just want to do some fight scenes, and that'd be a lot of fun. Crowley.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say it's good to have you here, and I hope you're not still too jet lagged.
Oh, no, not at all. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning. It was great. I got an early start.
My question was, when reading the script of Supernatural and trying to learn your lines, were there any lines that you had difficulties with remembering, or like scenes that took way longer than you wanted them to?
That only happens when Jared... It's usually Jared. That only happens when Jared decides that he's bored that day, and then it takes forever. I mean, for the most part, no. That's part of the job. So I definitely try to come prepared. If I'm doing like a monologue, I'm going to be working at it for at least the day before, and I'm just running it over as many times as I can until I know it backwards and forwards. So usually that hasn't been an issue. I mean, sometimes you'll come across like this string of words that just feels weird in your mouth, and sometimes if you rehearse too much, then the words and the meanings start sounding weird. I don't know if you've ever come across that, but you say a word over and over again, and then you're like, word, and it doesn't make sense anymore. So I'm definitely wary of over-rehearsing. But for the most part now, it's just, honestly, it's when Jared's bored, then he gives me a hard time. Yeah. So who has the mic now? Oh, there's a mic. It might be good to work out a mic system.
You can't see anything here.
Yeah. If you have it, talk into it.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. First of all, as Castiel, I like to book your nose at any time. But my question is, if you were to come back as Kevin, and the Winchesters were like, hey Kevin, we need you for a hunt, what monster would you love to hunt?
Oh, what monster would Kevin love to hunt? Personally, I would love a monster that, Kevin would do, he'd do the smart thing and figure out the traps and stuff, but I want to hunt a monster where I can just, hack and slash. Yeah, like a vampire, Anytime I played like an MMORPG or like any of those fantasy games, I like being the warrior because I don't want to think about anything. I just want to go in and just get hit, and it's just, I don't know. It comes from probably a primal nature of me just wanting to bulldoze things and yell and run in. So
I hated to be a bringer of bad news.
Yeah.
But it's time.
Oh, I thought you said you like to be a mage.
Alright, we got our next guest already standing right. Joseph Gett, he's right.
Okay.
So he will be here. Will I see you tomorrow again here?
Yeah. Yes.
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 Yes. I'm gonna cosplay tomorrow. I have something prepared.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. I'll see you probably throughout the day, walking around, photo ops, autographs, or tomorrow back here. Right?
Yeah.